Hey everybody, my name is Drew Smith and I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway in York, Pennsylvania. York is located north of Baltimore, south of Philadelphia, kind of to the west of Lancaster. I'm letting you know about my experience with Biosafe Organics. Last year in 2018, we had an issue. I thought it was starting to become an issue with our septic field. It was getting kind of mushy. If you know anything about septics, that's something you don't want. So I was concerned that I was going to be facing, a $20,000 or $30,000 expense. I wasn't happy about it. I started doing research because I've learned a few years ago, just because you think you know what to do, it's a good idea to look on the internet and research and learn, because there's new stuff coming out all the time. So I came across Biosafe Organics and I watched all the videos. I was kind of apprehensive about it because, people are the way they are, and I wanted to make sure that it was a product that was going to work for me. I also talked to the salesperson, asked some questions, and felt comfortable enough to buy the product. They sent me, I forget exactly how many containers, but they're pails, kind of like 5-gallon white pails of product, and it has a solution in it that has like a gazillion different bacteria, like tons and tons of bacteria. It's really good for you bacteria. And we poured that into our commodes and into our septic tank itself, and it has kind of like a minty smell, and within 2 or 3 days I could smell it in my yard, and then we went on a cruise. We're gone for about a week or so, maybe 10 days, and came back and was walking around, and you could still smell a little bit, not as much, but you could still smell a little bit in the yard, and I noticed that the yard started getting firmer. And if you want to, you can look it up. You'll see that 2018 was the wettest year in York County to date. So that was pretty impressive to have it work that well. So I was happy about my experience. I put the product into our commodes and our septic, and I followed the instructions of the salesperson, and it worked out very well. So I thought what I'd do is I'd show you a video of my property so you could see the yard and the septic tank and what it's like. I was kind of freaked out about having to put a new septic in because it's a major expense. I really don't want to have to go through that. So I'm going to try to show you back behind here is the lid to, it's kind of hard to see in this light here. I'm trying to get a feel for where it is. I know it's back behind here. Hold on, let me try to hold it this way. Yeah, there, this is the lid to the septic right there. If you could see that, that's the lid. So that's the septic. So the effluent from the house just flows down into the septic, and then if you're familiar with how septic systems work, they'll drain out into the drain field. Mine is older, so my tank is just a really thick septic tank, which then distributes out into the drain field. There is no distribution box. It doesn't do a whole lot. It just goes straight out to the field. It's old, but it works great. And in fact, by the way, not long after I had the septic installed, my township wanted to have my septic pumped, which frustrates me because if you know enough about septics, you know that the bacterial environment in your septic is your septic. It's the bacteria is what makes everything work. It's a natural process, but when you pump it all out, you're getting rid of your septic itself. Now you still, of course, have your tank and your pipes in the ground, the drain field. But what really does the work, which is the bacteria, you're pumping it all out. I'm not a fan of it. In Maryland, my understanding is, and I don't sell in Maryland, but my understanding is in Maryland it's illegal to pump out your whole septic because they get it that is your septic. That's the biology is what makes it go. So you don't want to get rid of it because you're starting back from zero. So anyway, my guy who came out here, who's a nice enough guy, but he tried to fail my septic because he thought that this thing at my place is just so old, how could it possibly still be working? Well, it was very well designed, it is working. But at that point, back in May of last year, I was concerned because I was getting a mushiness in my yard. And so I used the product, and despite the fact that it was the wettest year ever for York, it got solid again. So I was really happy. So anyway, back there where the trees, that's where the septic lid is. And then I'm going to pan back here. It's the holly trees. And then there's this tall grass over here and this whole backyard because I need to mow. But this whole area here is my septic field. And so from back there where the trees are, down here to the hollies and then beyond, that's my septic field. And so I was really happy because it's all solid out and through here now, and it hadn't been. So I'm very thankful for it. So BioSafe Organics absolutely saved me a ton of money. I was very thankful for them. They shipped it in a truck, brought a whole bunch of pails. It was like a big truck, and they stopped at a shopping center not far from my property, and I went over there and met with them, picked them up, put them in the back of my truck, brought them out to the property, followed the instructions of the salesperson, who was very knowledgeable, very helpful. And I'll tell you what was nice about talking to him. I've been selling real estate for a long time, so I've dealt with a lot of septics. I know I'm not an expert, but I'm also not completely ignorant about septics. And because I'm a salesperson, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've said the same things to people and educated people literally thousands of times. And when you just know your craft and you know what you're talking about, and you understand what the person you're trying to help is going through, and the steps they go through in order to get to the point where they can help themselves. When you're familiar with that, you come across a certain way. And it's the same way Chris came across with me. So I knew he really did know what he was talking about. He's been doing this for a long time. And I'm sure they have lots of other salespeople which are really wonderful, but I was very happy with my experience with them, and I'm sure you will have a wonderful time too. So I have helped other folks who have called me and asked me questions about it. If you have questions, I'm sure I'd be happy to answer some of your questions too and take some time. But either way, I wish you all the very best. And thank you very much, BioSafe Organics. You guys are great. Take care.